answers that question. 1 second. Surely we're safe. All right, what was I doing next? I think that was what I was. Yeah, and then. So many little things that you got to do to set it all up. So many little things. Okay. So today is going to be a bit chill. Um, I'm probably not even going to be even saying much. I'm just going to be doing a lot of watching of footage and listening, learning, and doing a bit of my own research in the background. Like you won't see it, just doing my own looking into other things, just supplementing new info that I'll need to know for future. Oh my god, you voted for people to be pepper plastered in the face. Yes, yes, I did. Yeah. I don't know what that even means. Tell me Australia has become a communist country right before ever. That's funny. The picture media uses how she looked in 2026. You don't like her haircut, so this is evidence that she deserved to die. This is your point, yes. Mm. It's fucking gross how people have been treating. Hang on, Renee Good. It's just fucked up. Like people really are. It's interesting in a way because it's a real tell me you're a psycho without telling me that you're a psycho kind of situation. Does have to be right back. They shouldn't have came here. It's not correct grammar, and what gives you the right to say if they should have come here or not? Obviously, you have a Nazi plan to rid yourself of uneducated vermin. Perhaps we should start with you on now. What was this?
That came here and
Oh God! Whoa! That is loud. Let me just. God damn.
the last few years because they shouldn't have came here because we were already fucking full. But yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, I remember this thing was happening. Like I remember, or maybe not actually, it might be a different one. There's been these spaces one after the other hosted by this guy who calls them hard labor camps. Like just calls the group that or whatever. I don't know.
The wording has to be looked at, but also it can't go too soft because the younger generations are the ones that are going to stand up in huge amounts, and they're extreme as fuck.
Oh, look like
Generation Adolf.
I see it, mate. I've got those kids in my sons are at that age. They're fucking more full on than I am, mate. But it is what
That's fucking concerning. This guy hates me. He was the one in the when I was talking about homelessness with a bunch of people earlier, well, last week technically now, whatever. Yeah, he was like ranting and raving at me because I guess he didn't like me from a previous thing.
it is, you know.
Just go see how hardcore it is on Instagram right now. It's crazy over there.
Oh, imagine nigga juju.
Often they met like Australian people that have come and done this, like conquered 25% of the world, or like most of the world, like the whole.
Wait, sorry, so much just happened in a span of 5 fucking seconds.
That came here in the last few years because.
Hang on.
Right now it's crazy. See how hardcore it is on Instagram right now. It's crazy over there.
Oh,
Imagine
nigga juju.
Who said that?
Instagram right now. It's crazy over there.
Oh,
Imagine
nigga juju.
I'm guessing it's this guy, not this guy, because it doesn't sound like him from what I remember.
often they met like Australian people
Yeah.
that have come and done this, like conquered 25% of the world, or like most of the world.
Hang on. What's he saying?
Come and done this, like conquered. They met.
Right now it's crazy over there.
Oh,
Imagine
nigga juju.
often they met like Australian people that have come and done this, like conquered 25% of the world, or like most of the world, like the whole world basically, and then being soft on messaging like this that you want.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh, that is so funny. Yeah. The Australian people who conquered 25% of the world and oops, 25% of the world and we're now just starting to get soft on messaging or some shit.
Want to get people who don't belong to your group out of your country and being like, oh no, I don't want to. It's like imagine being that sort of that belonging to this race of people which have just done so much and then just
This is what I mean by they can't even dog whistle. They can't even dog whistle because dog whistles. I'm gonna try and look at this. Ooh, yeah. They can't even dog whistle well because like the Australian race. Are you fucking? What are you on about, mate?
Their children are going to grow up in.
Yeah.
Their children are going to grow up in. They see that if they have a baby girl, that baby girl is at serious fucking risk once she's a little bit older and walking around the city streets by herself or with her friends. And I think that's why they're so extreme because they've known they've only known the world to kind of start off semi okay with like multiculturalism obviously still being pushed, and then all of a sudden it's turned into this absolute cesspool of fucking god knows what. They're hearing about Africans running around the street with machetes, they're hearing about Muslim rape gangs, they're hearing about all this stuff, and they're like, what the fuck is my future looking like right now? So I think that's why they are so extreme, is they fear for their future because they're losing their future.
Yeah, look, I see it. I feel it, I feel the same. We're losing it, mate. What a future I've got left and my kids and their fucking kids too, mate.
I feel like we're doing. I feel like I can't help but notice that we're doing a lot of feeling here, which I find real interesting. Now, I had always been under the impression these were the facts over feelings, guys. Now, granted, that is the Ben Shapiro statement, and these guys aren't a fan of Jews at all. But they're really honest about the fact that this is just their feelings, that they just feel this way, and that it's not necessarily an evidence-based concern of theirs.
it's fun. I feel like your birthright is everything. It's like the right to all the resources, like the everything that comes within like a nation that your ancestors worked for, being taken away from you. So and like being like your government is like actively bringing in people who are going to take it away from you, and it's being fucking, just torn apart right in front of your eyes.
It's fucked, bro. And I think everybody can see it, hopefully, by now. Nobody wants this shit, man. I'm telling you. We
Nobody.
just got to figure out how we can somehow fucking work somehow together to push back enough. And they will capitulate if we do it correctly, We just can't fucking go out.
Wait, they will capitulate if we do it correctly. That's very, I mean, look, you can't really take much from what this guy says, but like, it's just a very, it's, I'm very interested with these people, not just them, just all right-wing groups, in how they word things, because I always find it so fascinating how they speak, just not even so much what they're saying, like the just like what the ultimate meaning is, but just like how they say it is very interesting to me because they're weirdly very honest, and then they just will pretend they never said these things, but whatever.
Out on little tangents in little groups and just get fucking slammed like, in little sections. And it's not enough.
The weaker ones are actually bringing down the stronger ones, the ones with a more hardline stance. They're the ones who are actually making it hard. Look at the left right now in America. They're all completely unified on what they want. They know exactly what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. Whether it be like just complaining and just doing their thing as per usual.
What? What? They're unified not only in what they're unified against and for, but how they're going to fight for it by complaining more. Yeah. Is that what they think is happening ultimately when like they see protests? Is they just read it as, oh, they're complaining, probably.
Trying to form some sort of revolution, but they are all unified on the same idea. There's no like soft like
Yeah, there's no real
watering
cliques.
down.
Yeah, there's like no different cliques where like warring with each other. Whereas the right wing's always like that. There's always different cliques.
Yeah, the left, famously the left wing, known to not have infighting. The left, famous for a lack of infighting. So true, my dudes. So goddamn true. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. I mean, I guess this is not that, this is just like a political version of like listening to a bunch of guys talking about like women's things. But I mean like women's things in the sense of like actual like the general experience of a woman, or even, oh, stuff to do with periods or whatever. And like, it's just so obvious they have no fucking clue what they're talking about, and they're borderline saying the exact opposite of how things work. Oh, that's so good though. That was so funny.
And it's like, yeah,
But the right wing's more diverse. It's like that, that blot chart. Like the right wing's more encompassing, whereas like the left is more of like a unified sort of thing. So like the right's very broad. So makes sense that people are going to argue over things.
That's so good. Hang on. See, this is what I mean. Like, today's chill. Today's very chill. We're just going to be casually looking at things, and I've got stuff I'm got to be writing down. It's Sunday, start of the new week. Oh God, that was good. Snarky Jalapeno gets some pretty alright clips. Oh God, that was good. It always gives me watching stuff like that always gives me it just makes me feel good, you know. Oh, Gen Z and millennials, this is the generational divide we are up against. Voting intention 18 to 34, 30%, 26%. Yeah. And then 55 plus 28%. It's interesting. I mean, I know this is 18 to 34, so it's not so much. Like, it's not. Oh no, that was a bit Gen X. Never mind. Never mind. I'm just gonna not even. Let's go to everyone affected by the data center. I need a video. Give me. Wait, what? It was created using artificial intelligence not to depict it naturally. Oh, okay. Oh? Oh, what the fuck? Is this just the same ones? I think it is. Yeah. Let me just see if I go to him. Posts. Okay, this has to be different.
Like, what is wrong with that? They don't do drugs. Fuck. what's wrong with that? Like, isn't that something that you would want your children to be around? Isn't that something that you would want your children to aspire to be? Fucking, it is something I would want my kids to aspire to be if I had kids. It's something I would want my goddaughter, my niece and nephew to be.
You're
Right?
totally degenerate in this world. That's what is expected of men, to be
Yeah.
A drug addict, like sex hungry, degenerate, deviant who's just has no real care for the future or anyone,
Yeah.
just like a cutthroat sort of. No,
Yep.
that's
But these guys, no, they train. They look after their bodies. They eat well. They don't do drugs. They fucking they have goal. They're goal oriented. They fucking like they're real traditional men. Get married, have children. Like it's like don't cheat on your wife. All the traditional like nuclear family type stuff. I mean,
Okay. Who are we talking about? Are we talking about the Nazis? That was weird.
just win the war first, and then we can just go, well, then we'll
No.
worry about what our enemy thinks about us later.
We won't
Because
do, really.
Yeah,
We won't even worry about that. Like we won't worry about it.
exactly, who gives
we
a
Worry
just
shit?
got to
But
smash.
hold
Just
on, though.
literally just let the NSN just smash the left. Like we just got to smash our enemies. Just like even if you don't like him, you don't like Hitler or whatever. Just ignore that and just let them smash them. Kill our enemies. That's what we need. Like rhetorically speaking.
Oh, rhetorically speaking. What do you mean? Like what, in the marketplace, the free marketplace of ideas? The NSN are literally fucking baby brain retards. Like they I've I'll put it like this. I've seen a lot of what Thomas Sewell says, whether it's been on like a podcast interview thing or things he's willing to just put out. Same as that Herson guy. I forgot the first name of him. Um, it's they're pathetic. They're very unimpressively dumb. Uh, but how? Like, I don't even understand what he means here. What do you mean by have like the NSN is is a I don't know what they want to call themselves, a militia group, paramilitary militia? Like, how far are they willing to let themselves be considered? Like, a cult, simply? They're not even in all, like, they're not in all the places that the left is. So, how are they going to kill the left rhetorically? Such bitch bullshit on their part.
Politically, metapolitically.
Isn't that a good thing? If you were perceived as something optically, like if you were optically perceived as something which they hate and which they are fearful of.
Yeah, don't you want to be the exact opposite of what they are?
Yeah.
Just win the war first, and then we can just go, well, they're
I do love how they just have not been able to keep themselves from just straight up saying all this shit. Right, and then that was that thing. Like they try and make out that they're all about it's just an anti-immigration thing. Oh no, don't look too much into who we are about our opinions on other things. This is just a coalition on the matter of anti-immigration. But then you look at the other things they are talking about, and it's like, okay, it's so clearly not just anti-immigration that, like, when you guys say you're about anti-immigration, there's so clearly a lot of reasons why you are for that. And those reasons come swinging right back to some weird fucking ethno-state shit, man. It almost always comes swinging right back around to that. And, like, I don't know. You guys are the ones who keep saying this shit and doing this shit. So, like, we're trying to figure out what you would want us to call you according to your words and actions, is all I can simply say. Oh, hey there. Oh, you never actually got around to watching this.
Friend Joel Davis, and this is the first time Joel's been able to ring me since he was arrested, I think 2 months ago, maybe over 2 months ago. I have to check the dates. It feels like it's been ages since he was arrested. But he's been held in Long Bay Jail in a punishment ward, in a cell without a shower or a TV. Some days he doesn't get to shower. They basically decide when he showers by taking him from his cell into a different block where there are showers. You see, Joel has been classified by the prison system as a national security threat or risk. I don't know if they use the term risk or threat, but he's a national security threat. And what that means is he basically doesn't have any rights. He doesn't have the right to any books. He doesn't have the right to see a priest, a chaplain inside the prison. He doesn't have the right to anything. He just sits there. He doesn't even have a Bible, guys. They won't give him a Bible. If you're just like landing on this story now and you don't know the details, Joel made a social media post criticizing a politician or directing people to criticize a politician.
Is that what he
That's
said?
why-
No, hang on. Is that what he said? Is that what he did? I mean, what he did was he said we need to rhetorically rape her, which like, yes, I've looked into the meaning of that word, and like it is a thing, it is a phrase, it was a phrase used before, but it's actually meant to mean, it's at what the phrase rhetorical rape is actually meant to mean is that it was originally used in reference to people like Fox News and Fox News pundits, that they would rhetorically rape their opponents in debate by basically being extremely absurdist and dominating them, dominating their guest in these interactions, forcing these people to well, putting these people in a situation where they're sort of taken aback and shocked because it'll be like they have a perfectly fine interaction prior to the cameras rolling, and then bang, they're showtime. And that's supposed to be what rhetorical rape was meant when you look back at the like academic term, because it was talked about as a thing, but it was used as like a bad thing. Like it was not an ideal thing to be doing, but not just. I think the point was more so like maybe his. I'm personally am more sort of like why haven't they been saying that they're going after him for like his really weird fucking advocacy around child age of consent laws being reduced, like the age being reduced, like that's been real fucking sussy shit. And like his behavior around that, I would argue that's more. Yeah, I don't know why they don't even ever mention that. Like the police or whoever.
He was arrested. That's why he's in jail. So no Bible, no shower.
Honestly, like I just don't even care about the fact that Joel Davis has been like arrested or whatever. It's like there have been the police have done and continue to do this to so many people involved in like I'll just say activism of any kind, of any stretch. That like it happening to this one guy, considering the fact that I wouldn't be surprised if he's a pedophile, pedolite. I just don't care.
He doesn't get any yard time. He hasn't seen the sun in well over a month, he said. And he doesn't have the right to complain because of his classification as a national security threat. I've never really heard of a situation like that before, especially not for somebody accused of a crime that's really not that serious. And Joel's just the first person they're hitting with this. They're going to send a lot of people to jail for comments that they've made online in Australia. This is just the start. And
Of
what they want
course.
to normalize
This
here,
is just the start. It's never happened before until Joel Davis. Never happened before. This is a completely new phenomenon.
trying to do is they're trying to create a whole new threshold of crime called hate crime. And hate crime or hate criminals.
Sorry. Wait, what? Is this new? Is this a new concept? Hate crime?
Somebody accused of a crime that's really not that serious. And Joel's just the first person they're hitting with this. They're going to send a lot of people to jail for comments that they've made online in Australia. This is just the start. And what they want to normalise here
Yeah, this is just the start. Don't worry about that. Not that, ignore the fact that there have been so many people pulled up for like being pro-Palestinian and expressing that in certain ways in social media, and that has led to them having like, let's just simply say, awkward interactions with law enforcement. So like, yeah, they don't care about the principle of this. They're just frustrated that it's their guy.
What they're trying to do is they're trying to create a whole new threshold of crime called hate crime. And hate crime or hate criminals will experience similar consequences legally to actual terrorists. So what does this mean for our country? What does this mean for
What
Australia
does this mean?
and our future? Well, this is bad for everybody,
Ah,
guys, because this is all a new precedent. This hasn't happened to anybody in
never.
Australia for ideological reasons before.
No,
No
never.
one has been thrown in jail, declared a national security risk, denied books, denied showers, denied access to basic human rights because of a social media post. This has never happened before in Australia's history, and it's bad for everybody. It's bad if you're a university student. It's bad if you're a bricklayer. If they can do this to Joel Davis, they
Yeah.
can do it to you as well. They can do it to anybody.
Sounds familiar, does it not? Does that rhetoric not sound a teeny weeny leeny little bit familiar? If they can do it to this one guy, then they can do it to all of us.
Who's saying anything on social media
This one
that
guy
they
who might
don't
be a
like.
pedophile.
But that's what this new hate speech and hate crime stuff is going to be about. They'll be throwing people in jail who are critical of the government and its lobbyists, combating anti-Semitism, combating hate, combating so-called far-right extremism. This will all just be the excuse the government uses to arrest people and throw them in jail for having the wrong opinion. And Joel Davis is the exemplary case demonstrating that. Joel Davis is the first of hundreds of political prisoners. Future police work won't really be about catching criminals. It'll be about sitting in an office trawling social media, working out who is criticizing the government most effectively, who's getting popular doing it.
Hang on, isn't that what the FBI basically does these days? Sorry, no, shit, I can't be talking about America right now. We're checking in on Australia. Australia!
Throw them in jail. It's like Australia is competing against England and Western European nations for who can be the gayest communist country in the world. And this is how it's going to be for Australians in the future.
Bro, aren't you like a 40, 50-year-old man? Damn. I'm getting confused. I thought Drew Pavlo was also a political prisoner before. I thought Joel, wait, no, Aussie Cossack, I can't remember who he was though. Yeah.
And this is what happens when you disengage from politics and live in your own fucking bubble. This is what happens when you just sit around watching football and eating chips. And you
Is that these guys' version of like sitting around getting high playing video games? Is that like the right wing's version of it? That's funny. I like that. I like that.
You might think to yourself, well, I'm not as vocal as Joel Davis was, and I'm not as opinionated as Joel Davis was, so I'll be fine. They'll leave me alone. Maybe you'll be left alone for 6 months, maybe a year, but eventually something you write on the internet, something you say to a colleague at work, something is going to bring the police down on you. So Joel, he's been held in pretty poor conditions. He's a national security threat according to the jail and the political system. He doesn't even have a Bible. He doesn't have access to a shower. He doesn't get to shower on some days. He doesn't have any sunlight or any yard where he can actually go out into natural light. But despite all that, he's in good spirits and he's confident that he will be released within the next month or two. And I have to say that I feel a sense of pride. I feel proud that he's my mate because he's making the most of a bad situation. He's not letting...
Wait, whoa, hang on. So Blake Cottrell's basically now in with the fucking NSN now too. Because like I thought his whole thing with Thomas Sowell, like they had a big falling out. Because Thomas Sowell went full ethno-Nazi or maybe not even was the ethno bit, but like the anti-democracy, undemocratic. I don't know, whatever. Hell yeah. Shit. Uh, yeah, anyway. Wait, what? This guy belonged to the government that denied climate change and now. Wait, is this ScoMo? Yeah, that's ScoMo. Yeah, yeah. All right, I want to look at hear a little bit about this whole Royal Commission bullshit into Bondi because what's the actual point of this? To be clear, I actually like Royal Commissions. I think it's one of the only defensible things that Australia does as a internal politics, internal like accountability system, like a means of actually investigating and hopefully achieving a justifiable ends um, to a problem, especially when it's like a really large scale problem. Okay, it's loud as well.
After weeks of intense pressure, the Prime Minister has announced a royal commission on anti-Semitism and social cohesion following the Bondi terror attack. Former High Court Judge Virginia Bell will lead the commission. She'll deliver her report by December this year. In a moment, I'll speak to the Prime Minister, but first here's our political editor, Jacob Grieber.
That's just horrific. As the nation recoiled from the Bondi terror attack, the Prime Minister quickly faced a barrage of criticism that he'd not done enough to curb anti-Semitism. The government insisted a royal commission would take too long.
There was no royal commission called by the Howard government after Port Arthur. There was no royal commission called by the Abbott government after the Lindt siege.
But then came the groundswell of calls for action from victims' families, business leaders, sporting figures and members of the Labor Party.
We need to see the government saying, right, okay, there are my people, there they go, I will follow them.
In the end, the Prime Minister has reversed course, betting that doing so now, during the summer break, was better than letting it continue to fester.
Where we have landed today is an appropriate way forward for national unity.
This evening, the New South Wales Premier Chris Minns announced that in light of the Federal Royal Commission being established, the state inquiry now won't proceed. The Prime Minister joined me from Canberra earlier. Prime Minister, welcome to 7:30.
Good to be with you, Michael.
Why does it take you so long to read the National Room on a Federal Royal Commission?
Well, it's just been 25 days, Michael, since that travesty of the anti-Semitic terrorist attack at Bondi Beach. And in that time, our priority has been firstly to make sure that we look at the national security issues. So during that time, we've already established the Richardson Review. We've increased funding for security agencies. We have strengthened the recommendations of the Special Envoy's report to combat anti-Semitism. We've been drafting legislation on hate laws for the Parliament to come back. And we said, in response to New South Wales announcing they will have a Royal Commission, we said that there'd be full Commonwealth cooperation with that, which would in effect have been a Commonwealth and New South Wales Royal Commission. So what we've determined is we've listened to people's responses, we've responded to that constructively. We've also been working through these recommendations, and the terms of reference weren't done this morning. They were done over a long period of time, including with proper consultation with the community to make sure that we got it right. Because what we didn't want is a series of announcements. We wanted one announcement with the Royal Commissioner, with the right structures in place to make sure that we make a real difference, which is what people are looking for.
So you've been working on the terms.
I actually kind of feel bad for Albo in this situation. Because let's be real. As he's kind of said, what are they hoping to achieve here? What are they actually hoping to achieve with a Royal Commission? Like, what do they expect is going to happen? you know? Because, like, let me just quickly demonstrate here. Fuck it, put it down there. Royal commissions in Australia. Can I just get like a list? List of all commissions. Okay, list of Australian Royal Commissions. Okay, Royal Commissions, sometimes called Commissions of Inquiry, have been held in Australia at a federal level since 1902. Royal Commissions appointed by the Governor-General operate under the Royal Commissions Act 1902, passed by the Parliament of Australia in 1902. The governments of the states and territories of Australia have also appointed royal commissions, although they are not included in this list unless they were appointed jointly by the Government of Australia and a state or territory government. In 2010, the Australian Law Reform Commission, ALRC, conducted an inquiry into the operation provisions of the Royal Commissions Act 1902, investigating possible alternative forms of executive inquiry. Was tabled, presented for consideration in Parliament, but has not been implemented. I mean, I don't know what their alternative forms would have been. So, in 1902, Royal Commission appointed to inquire into and report upon the arrangements made for the transport of troops returning from service. Report upon the arrangements made. Okay, so I would imagine that would be about like, was anything done to support the veterans who came back. Royal Commission on sites for the seat of government of Commonwealth. Royal Commission on the bonuses for manufacturers bill. Royal Commission on the butter industry. Okay, so there you go, like on the butter industry, so like investigating them on the navigation bill. So this would be like, those two would be like sussing that shit out. On the affair at that place, Royal Commission on Customs and Excess Tariffs, on old age pensions, on the tobacco monopoly, on ocean shipping service. Okay, so let's just speed it way up. Let's just go like up to here. So then we have in like the 80s and 90s, it being more like into drug trafficking, into the activities of the Australian Building Construction Employees and Building Labourers Federation. That might be like unions, into Australian meat industry, into the activities of the Nugan Hand Group. So that would be what? Oh, merchant bank that collapsed in 1980 after the suicide of one of its founders. Oh, there you go. Resulting in a major scandal on the use and effects of chemical agents on Australian personnel in Vietnam. I already know what that would be about. It'd be about Agent Orange. How much did they put into consideration for using Agent Orange? Commission of Inquiry into compensation arising from Social Security conspiracy prosecutions. Royal Commission into British nuclear tests in Australia. I remember that. Not not like I was there, but I remember like the whole British doing nuclear tests here. Royal Commission into inquiring into alleged telephone interceptions, into Chamberlain convictions, into grain storage, Aboriginal deaths in custody, Australian Secret Intelligence Service, leasing the Commonwealth of accommodation in Sanitary House, whatever. Relations between the CAA and Seaview Air, don't know much about that. Insurance, building, construction industry, UN Oil for Food program. Yeah, kind of, yeah. That would have been, I wouldn't be surprised if that was semi-political, or maybe not even. Royal Commission into Institutional Responses to Child Abuse. I remember that one. Child sexual abuse, yes. I was alive around that one. Into the Home Insulation Program, into Trade Union Governance and Corruption, familiar, into the Child Protection and Youth Detention Systems of the Government of the Northern Territory, into misconduct in the banking and superannuation and financial services industry. So there are big investigations done to try and get to the bottom of what's going on an issue. Yeah, here we go. Now we have anti-Semitism and social cohesion. See, I just don't get the need for it because who are they looking to target? With all these other ones, it's not just an ethereal like racism. Like the ones that are about racism, like ultimately about racism, for example, is into the Aboriginal deaths in custody. That's very specific. Like, yes, it's obviously about racism, but it's not just about racism. It's about a specific way that racism has been, um, I guess, acted upon. I'm just trying to find if they have the Fitzgerald inquiry. Oh, yeah. Royal Commission of Inquiry into matters in relation to electoral redistribution in Queensland. Queensland. Is that the one? 6. Okay. Anyway, yeah.
As a reference for this Federal Royal Commission, just to clarify, for some weeks now, why not make that clear to people earlier in the process?
Well, for some time. Well, Michael, in today's 24-hour media cycle, you can either allow it to run you or you can be an orderly, considered government that go through proper processes, that have proper consultation. And one of the things that I've been doing as well is sitting down with families, like in the home of Rabbi Ullman, who has welcomed this report. I spoke to him today. He's in New York. He's the leader of the Chabad community there in Bondi that organised the Hanukkah event. I've sat in homes. I've spoken to relatives. I've met with leaders of Jewish community organisations, but in particular those local people grieving. And we have made sure that we've got this right. The terms of reference, I note, have been welcomed by a range of Jewish organisations, business organisations and others. And what we've been focused on is making sure that the country can unite and go forward, while others have been seeking division. We've been seeking unity and cohesiveness.
You talk about some members of the Jewish community grieving. Families of the victims a week ago almost begged you to set up a Federal Royal Commission. Should not that have been the point where you'd say, yes, we are at least considering the terms of reference to save them further grief?
Oh, fuck.
I sat down with those families, Michael, very deliberately. Last night, I was at St Vincent's Hospital with Geffen Bitten, who is someone who suffered quite severe injuries, who today was medevaced to Israel. I sat down with him, with Rabbi Mendel of that community, who lost a relative in that horrific attack by the terrorists. I sat down with him, his father, his brother, and other community members. And I've engaged constructively. And let me just say this, Michael, the generosity and warmth that I have received, I've been very grateful for, listening to people's stories in people's homes, engaging with people, whether it be at Kirribilli House, at Admiralty House with the Governor-General, even on New Year's Eve, talking to families who are invited there, talking to rabbis, talking to the community. And what we have done is to make sure that we have got this right. And you and I both know, Michael, that a half-hearted announcement of something without who the Royal Commissioner was going to be, without timeframes, without terms of reference, wouldn't have created less speculation, it would have created more.
But excuse the interruption, you had so many Australians from so many different walks of life pursuing you over a Federal Royal Commission. Surely you should have taken their views into account. And I want to ask you whether this...
Oh, Albo, you're not looking good, buddy. I'm going to be honest, you're not sounding your best.
Backflip, and it is a backflip. Are you worried that will change perceptions of you as a leader? You're finally followed to where what a large section of the Australian community has been for some weeks now.
Michael, I stood up
Oh no.
and said that we'd fully cooperate with the New South Wales Royal Commission very early on, at the same time as we're announcing immediate changes, immediate action. Now, what we've done here is not defer immediate action. What we haven't done is produce, and the opposition produced a 73-point Royal Commission plan.
But the question, excuse the interruption, was to your leadership.
That would have taken
Are you
many
worried
years.
people will see you as a weak leader, following rather than leading, to where all of these Australians, eminent Australians from different walks of life, including the families of the victims, have been for many days, if not weeks, before today's announcement of the Federal Royal Commission?
Michael, I've spoken with the families very directly, and I've spoken with other community leaders. And what people want in their leader as well is someone who will listen and will adjust positions on the basis of, in a great democracy, we want to hear from people. We want people to participate. I'm not someone who in the past has said that business should stick to its knitting. I've never been of that view. I think that people expressing their views is a good thing. Governments should be open to listening, and we have done that. We've also, though, done it in a way which makes sure that what we're not doing is deferring action. What we're doing is supplementing and strengthening the action that we're taking. Now, we're preparing the legislation. Today, the consultation on that began as well with broad members of the community. We want to bring that legislation forward. We want to make sure that it's got right as well, given the constitutional issues that are involved.
Former High Court Judge Virginia Bell is the Royal Commissioner. Some members of the Jewish community have been strongly opposed to her appointment and said they'd made that very clear to you, fearing that she's too left-leaning as one reason.
Oh my God, of course
What
it must be
confidence do you
it.
have that Virginia Bell will do the job?
What's her name? Virginia Bell. Yeah. The woman who will lead. Okay. I'm not even going to. Do we have a. Yeah, we have a Wikipedia. That's all I want to see. It's a bit humid, mate. She was a former justice of the highest court, although she was sworn in, retired in 21. Previously public defender, she assisted in the Wood Royal Commission in the nature of public service. She was appointed as a judge, and after her retirement, she led an inquiry into former. Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. I might have to watch that sometime and as a retrospective. Prime Minister Albanese selected her to lead. Yep. I just need to know, does she give politics? So life and appointment speeches. The Great Constitution. Wow, she seems rather, I don't know, what? So where's the thing where she's actually for Hamas, is what I want to know. She was, during her time on the Supreme Court, she presided over a defamation case brought by Rennie Rivkin, holding that allegations of homosexuality were no longer defamatory at common law. She was a researcher as well as subscription payments for people. Yeah, I don't know, mate. All right, well, let's see from the ABC what they say is who she's all about, what she's all about. Distinguished legal career began in 1970s and volunteer at Redfern Legal Centre. Okay, well that could potentially point to something. And the fourth woman, so Before the appointment by the Rudd's government, she served on the New South Wales Supreme Court in the early days of her career, where she represented people charged for marching in the 1978 Mardi Gras Parade. Okay, so she's probably pretty pro-queer. She was admitted, also briefly hosted the ABC program Late Night Live. What? In 1995, she became a counsel assisting the Wood Royal Commission that found widespread corruption in the New South Wales Police Service. In 2012, she was made a Champion of the Order of Australia for eminent service and advocate for the economically and socially disadvantaged. This is not the first time Mr. Albanese has selected to lead an independent inquiry. She has chosen to head a probe into the secret ministry scandal after it was revealed. Yeah, yeah. Is that going to be the reason? Sworn himself into the health, finance, treasury, home affairs, and industry, science, energy, and resources ministries. What wasn't fucking ScoMo? Like, basically just the military? Her report into Mr. Morrison's actions was scathing and found the secrecy was corrosive in trust of government. In announcing her appointment to lead Mr. Lord as a very experienced legal practitioner, we can't. Okay, I have no doubt that she'll be able to examine. I did not elaborate on the concerns has been told by. So, like, why though? But in response to questions, Mr. Albanese, if you look at what is required by them, there is no one of the stature. I want to know now. Why doesn't Josh, how do you say his name again? How do you type it? Freidenberg. Why doesn't like and what's her name again? Virginia, that's right. Virginia Bell. I feel like I can just looking at, like, to put it simply, the hair length, I have a feeling I'd understand. And she was pro-queer, so, or at least is, whatever. Didn't happen. Says possible pick deleted sparks. But, like, is it actually sparking outrage, or is it just Freidenberg making this bullshit up and people are just saying, oh, well, there you go. That must be the case. That didn't happen. Says PM did not have support from Jewish community before he announced. Do we get video? Do we get an interview? No. Oh. Oh.
Finally
For fuck.
caved and agreed
Why? Why got it? It's no in between.
to establish a royal commission into the Bondi massacre.
It's clear to me that a royal commission is essential. Today I announce.
Hang on, this is not what we were looking for. Called rises. This is a relief being established. Trying to find what? Nothing. Nothing. Fucking pointless. While acknowledging this commission announcement came almost months after and welcomed the backflip, I think that's a great opportunity. Come in and dead list. Blah blah. Fuck, I hate Sky News. Being privately broadly agreed. Where is, like, this is the thing to me, is this seems just like, I'm not even against necessarily a like a royal commission that is really trying to assess and investigate, like, uh, anti-Semitic organizations or whatever. I just think you're going to come around to a conclusion that they're not going to be too happy with it, which is like Israel is. uh, but they it, all this feels so artificially done. So he hasn't even fucking said anything, like actually explain why. Fuck me.
Virginia Bell has received Australia's highest honour, Companion of the Order of Australia. She's someone who's served at the highest level in New South Wales on the Supreme Court and on the High Court of Australia. She's someone who I have not seen any legitimate criticism of any view that she has expressed. She is someone who is held in such high regard. It was important as well that whoever look after this Royal Commission, given one of the issues, of course, with holding a Royal Commission, is the fact that it will take place at the same time as there are criminal proceedings against the alleged terrorists
and on that
taking
front,
place.
excuse the interruption, how can the Commission ensure that criminal trial involving the surviving gunman, that won't be prejudiced?
Well, that's why, Michael, you don't just make an announcement to satisfy the questions of a journalist immediately. You give proper consideration to, is it possible to have a Royal Commission that does not prejudice criminal and court proceedings? You have a coronial inquiry will take place. You will have criminal proceedings against the person who has been charged with terrorist activities. And Virginia Bell is ideally placed to make sure she gets that balance right. And that's why in the terms of the Royal Commission, we have said very clearly, and I'll quote from it, Michael, and the necessity for the inquiry to be conducted in a manner that does not occasion prejudice to current or future criminal proceedings or national security or undermine social cohesion. We are very confident with the experience that Virginia Bell has that she is the right person to make sure that can be achieved.
One of the concerns you expressed resisting a Federal Royal Commission earlier was your worry that it would give a platform to people with violent anti-Semitic views. How will the Federal Royal Commission address that?
Well, in the terms that I've just put forward, one of the ways in which the Commission will conduct its proceedings is to not undermine social cohesion. So that is why we've put that in there, because one of the things that has happened with the increase in temperature here in Australia, Michael, is that I think that Australians overwhelmingly want two things. They understand that we're not big players in the Middle East. They don't want, they want it to stop. They want peace and security for both Israelis and Palestinians. They want that around the world. But the other thing that Australians want is they don't want conflict brought here.
Oh no.
And that's why we need to use this Royal Commission to ensure that we strengthen our national unity, that we strengthen social cohesion, that we reassert who we are as Australians, because as Australians we respect each other in our diversity, we respect people's right to practice their faith, we respect people to be who they are and to be able to go about that in the Australian way. So the attack on December 14 was targeting Jewish Australians, but it was also targeting the Australian way of life.
Prime Minister, would you be prepared to give evidence to this Royal Commission?
Well, the Royal Commission will decide those things independently.
Would you be eager to give evidence?
Well, that's independent Royal Commission. I'll allow the Royal Commissioner to do her job. It won't be with the advice of the government. We've established the terms of reference. They will go to the Governor-General, Her Excellency Sam Mostyn, tomorrow, and the work is already underway from the Attorney-General's Department to establish the structure, if you like, that will be needed for the Royal Commission to proceed.
Prime Minister, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Michael.
Thank you very much indeed.
You still wearing cargo pants that feel like cardboard?
Nope, I do not. Pauline, is this Hanson? Okay, I might look at this in just a mo. I'm just gonna get up and grab a drink of something a bit different and toilets and whatnot. shoot. Like I said, just chilling today. So what was Pauline doing? Barnaby arriving at Isa yesterday on board Gina's private jet before taking a helicopter to Julia Creek. I wonder if she will declare this. Worthy to note she'd switched from Woolies to Coles. There's an opportunistic grifter who only cares about lining her own pockets. He's too slush to No, that can't actually be. Nation two fuckwits. Okay, yeah, definitely not. Pauline and Barnaby arriving yesterday. Oh yeah, same thing. It's a guarantee it's a helicopter too. Who honestly votes against political donation laws? Yeah, and obviously everyone's pulling up that little fun fact. Australia, please do not be conned. Gina Rinehart is using the hate and racist vitriolic anger being stirred up by Pauline Hanson to divide Australians, just like Trump divided America. Yeah, I mean, Pauline Hanson has been buddying up with Trump and Trump socialites, Trumpist socialites for a little bit now, and she keeps saying how the LNP needs to be more like Trump. So, tradition isn't an excuse, whatever. Okay, other Paulines, maybe. Breaking news, two-party preferred. One Nation pumping this propaganda is something out of the history books. This latest line from Pauline Hanson about being neck to neck with Labour is absolute propaganda. No methodology, no sample size, no transparency, no independent verification, pure BS. Yeah, I did read something about this particular like Demos AU poll. Let me see if I can find it. Demos AU poll. But the problem with it, in aftermath, results versus two-party preferred contest narrows on a two-party preferred basis between Labour and the coalition leads, but using an A or P One Nation TPP measure, these two parties are tied 50-50. And the issue there is while you had here 52-48, the 50-50 is still including all the coalition voters, which is both well, yeah, both the Liberals and the Nationals. So, like, it's not really that they're 50-50. Like, most of the Liberals and Nationals are still going to vote for the Liberals and the Nationals. They're probably just not going to vote for One Nation. This is because coalition preference flows to One Nation as stronger than One Nation preference flows to the coalition, though that is true, based on the available data leading to One Nation performing better on TPP. I mean, and also like, there was a whole thing I read about it where it's like, well, you got to keep in mind, Pauline Hanson's a senator, so if her herself, like it was a whole thing where it's like Pauline Hanson will never become prime minister. The point being was that, well, that is the point, but and thus it says like, because for one, her being a senator means that she would have to resign from the Senate, and then she would have to start a whole new election bid, but for a House of Reps seat, and then also have a majority One Nation, a majority One Nation collection of seats in Parliament, in the House of Reps, in order for her to actually be able to become Prime Minister. she doesn't have, like, regardless of how much voter support she has, it doesn't necessarily translate to how many politicians and actual, like, political structure, party structure set up for that, the One Nation Party. Like, it doesn't translate over to that. Results by actually 1 in 3 past coalition voters switched to One Nation. Recent showed that 1 in 5 had switched to. I don't believe that. In today's new poll, albeit with a smaller sample, nearly 1 in 3 now indicate support for One Nation. Among it's just over 1 in 10 are now indicating support. Yeah. I don't know if I believe those stats, like that stat of like 1 in 3 coalition voters would actually, like, what would switch to One Nation, like would switch in full force for One Nation, and 1 in 10 Labour voters would switch in full support for One Nation. LP. Anyway.
More than 20 years in this stratospheric poll support at the moment.
Because you know what, a few weeks ago, Andrew, I said because under the leadership of Susan Lee are hopeless for the conservative politics of this nation, I thought, you know, no more. Am I just going to be there as a backup for them and support them, which I have been? And I thought, no, One Nation can hold government, whether it's state or eventually, in time, in the federal arena, or come opposition. And if I don't have faith and trust in myself that I believe that One Nation can do it to represent the people of this nation, well then why would people vote for us? I'm putting myself out there.
Wait,
and the
what?
policies for One Nation that I believe.
No offense, Pauline, you're not even convincing me that you believe this. You're not really convincing me here.
Are great and right for this country. And I'm asking people to get behind us. And I wanted to say at this time to thank the people of Australia who've got behind us with their support, have become members. So we're just powering ahead. We've had an increase of 100% membership since the election. So people are getting behind One Nation.
Pauline Hanson, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for having her on, guys. Does she really think? Does she? No, she doesn't. Surely not. Well, she at least reported it in the sense of showing that she went there. Nope, we don't need that again. The most important ever Royal Commission ever held in decades. Yeah, Pauline, make sure you get that fucking get that Zionist money, Zionist funding. Oh, okay, yeah. Man's up to Bondi tragedy. Says Australians deserve. This was 2 days ago. Deserves. Yeah, sure. Fuck it.
You and all your listeners.
My next guest, Senator Pauline Hanson, leader of One Nation Party in Australia.
In Adelaide.
Pauline, thank you for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me on, Richard. Anyway, Happy New Year to you and all your listeners.
And to you too. First of all, Senator, any updates on your ban from Parliament?
No, haven't heard anything. I did write to the Prime Minister if he would actually look at overturning the ban, because I think we are recalled early to Parliament for the 19th of January, and that hasn't been confirmed yet. I want to be able to talk about the ban and the hate speech and about the gun issue on the floor of Parliament. Considering that, in many ways, I've been the person that's led this many years. I think having the right to actually speak to is very important, and to represent the people that have voted for One Nation.
Do you think it went too far, that Parliament went too far to ban you on that when you were just trying to make a point? Because we've seen some outrageous things over the years, haven't we?
Of course we have. Of course they went too far with it. And for a 7-day ban, sitting days that is, not just 7 days in a week, but it's 7 sitting days. I've got another 4 left that I can't attend the Parliament itself. And, this is the first time in history it's ever been done. And it's constantly all the time. I just feel on the floor of Parliament. I told the President myself, I said I'm treated totally different to other members in this chamber. I said the bias is there towards myself personally. And, it's frustrating, but I don't regret doing it. And the whole fact was I proved a point is you didn't want to ban the burqa. So I thought if you don't want to ban it, I'll go and wear it. Well, they didn't like that either, so I couldn't win either way.
My text line's going off at the moment. Question from Rob. Are you concerned about Prime Minister Albanese's appointment of Virginia Bell to head the Royal Commission?
Here we
go.
go.
See that as a conflict of interest, giving a history with the Labor Party?
Look, they'll give jobs to the boys. It comes down to the terms of reference as well. So
she's a woman.
He may have appointed her, but it will come down to the terms of reference. Of course, they all look after their mates. They all do. So at the end of the day, what will they allow, not allow? It will come down to the terms of reference. So that's my concern. Albanese was taken kicking and screaming about having this Royal Commission. He didn't want it. Excuse me.
You're right.
Excuse me, Richard. He was taken kicking and screaming to have this Royal Commission, but the people wanted it. People want an open book. They want to know what's going on. They want honesty. Albanese promised that when he first elected in 2022, there would be an open book, that they would be honest upfront with the people. He's been anything but, and this is exactly the same. And I just hope that this is not the case. We have to be strict on the terms of reference and just go for it. Open up everything. Let the people know what's been happening.
When you were on the ground after the attack and you went down to Bondi, your thoughts on all of that?
I was really emotional. I was really upset, and the people were devastated, and you could see it in the faces of hurt and pain. And people were just sort of saying, we just want to live in safety. We fear for our future generations. Now, parents were saying to me, we can't let our kids out anymore. We're terrified the way that our country has gone. And it was like, I don't want that retaliation. I don't want the hate from people. That's not the country that we are.
No.
But let's address it through the right channels, through the government's policies and immigration programs that we have. We can turn it around if we do it in a proper managed way. I don't want people to live in fear. I want people to live in harmony. I want people to assimilate. I want to see migrants come here by all means, but in a managed way. So
yeah, that's where she loses
we
everyone.
can do it. But we've got to get rid of this growing hatred that we have, that people, multiculturalism, Richard, has not worked and doesn't work. It's having all these different cultures, like, under certain cultures, we wouldn't even think about doing that. But under multiculturalism, it's considered and looked at. We are multiracial. At the end of the day, we must be Australians and respect each other and our laws.
That's because we live in this country. On your letter that has that you published on your site, you said the terms of reference must include examination of the character of individuals permitted to enter Australia. Do you think Tony Burke has let people down? Because, I was discussing this with my producer this morning. It's not just the character, it's the associations that person has coming into Australia.
Of course it is. And, of course, they've allowed people into the country that would never assimilate. Like, go to Victoria. Have a look at Victoria. Have a look at most of those people that carry the machetes. Look at their cultural background. They've come from these countries. That's in their DNA. And I'm sorry to say that. It's not in everyone's DNA, but the majority. Victoria is a basket case.
Hang on, sorry.
People can't, the government and the
Produced this morning. It's not just the character, it's the association.
multiculturalism, Richard, has not worked and doesn't work.
I love that he just
It's
goes,
having
yes, because
all
we all
these
live in
different
this country.
cultures,
That doesn't mean
like,
anything.
under certain cultures, we wouldn't even think about doing that. But under multiculturalism, it's considered and looked at. We are multiracial. At the end of the day, we must be Australians and respect each other and our laws.
That's because we live in this country. On your letter that has that you published on your site, you said the terms of reference must include examination of the character of individuals permitted to enter Australia. Do you think Tony Burke has let people down? Because I was discussing this with my producer this morning. It's not just the character; it's the associations that person has coming into Australia.
Of course it is. And, of course, they've allowed people into the country that would never assimilate. Go to Victoria. Have a look at Victoria. Have a look at most of those people that carry the machetes. Look at their cultural background. They've come from these countries. That's in their DNA. And I'm sorry to say that. It's not in everyone's DNA, but the majority.
Sorry, for a moment there, I was almost thinking Pauline Hanson was going woke. Sorry, before this little deviation into multiculturalism and how it is a complete failure apparently. I thought she was going a little woke and thinking, well, yeah, I guess this is why the Nazis don't like her anymore. And now she's talking about this, and I'm like, but this is also why they will still pump her up when she says this shit.
Victoria is a basket case. People can't, the government and the police can't control it. People are living in fear down there.
Oh my God.
And it's a crying shame. People losing their lives because of this. I'm sorry, there's certain people that I wouldn't allow in the country. And you've got to look at the Islamic fundamentalists that are coming in. That's why I wanted to ban the burqa. The burqa represents a culture and an ideology that wants to control women. If you were to ban that, they'd say, we can't go and live there because we can't cover our women up.
We would hate to have religiously influenced, political actions that are extremely repressive to women to occur.
And we can't treat them the way that we want to treat them. So you're sending a clear message. That's why about 24 countries around the world have banned the burqa. There's a reason why I do these things. And you've got to have a whole look at some of these suburbs that we have out there. They are high on the welfare program. They've actually got, on the NDIS. Have a look at this, which I want to expose. I want Australians to know what the hell is happening in our country. And we've got to turn around. Get rid of the bleeding bloody hearts. I'm over it.
The 24 countries that have banned it, and I'll use the analogy that's been used before, that I can't walk into a bank, not that you can walk into many banks nowadays, with a motorbike helmet on.
They can't. That's what I hear from people all the time.
Yeah.
That they've told to take off their motorbike helmet or the cap that they're wearing or hat or anything like that. They have to take it off. And, people are treated totally different. A woman went into the Lakemba area and she had a shorts and a T-shirt on. She was pulled up by a police officer and said, for your own safety, I suggest that you actually leave here. Why are you here? Like that. So Australians can't go into their own areas for fear of their own safety.
Wait, sorry. I'm a bit confused. What's the connection of the helmet and the hat thing? Is that like Australians being told you can't wear that in here because it might offend Muslims? Or are you meaning people who aren't Australians wearing it because they're worried that they're going to do a crime? Because that would happen regardless. Like, they would ask you to not wear it regardless because of that. I feel like we're jumping between a bunch of different things here that don't necessarily connect.
It's not the country. And we're just turning a blind eye to it. And Tony Burke,
I don't think
furious
you are.
with that man, allowing all these people from Gaza to come out here, nearly 3,000 people, whereas it was dominated and dictated to by a terrorist organisation that is just open up the floodgates to allow them into the country. So that's another thing, whereas 75% of the population there support Hamas. Who have we allowed here? Why did we bring the ISIS brides back into Australia?
They knew their fate when, under our laws, they went over there. They should never have been allowed back in. And deals were done with the government. And they said they didn't help them. That's a load of rubbish as far as I'm concerned. They knew damn well that they were going to be coming back in the government, never put a stop to it. So government's got to answer for a lot of things that's happened, and they've kept it secret from the Australian people. And that's what I've been trying to do, is expose. We have a right to know the truth.
Yeah, we do. Do you think the ASIO powers should be expanded and the agency beefed up now in wake of the Bondi incident?
I think it does. The cabinet, they've kept the ASIO out of their meetings and different things, and I think that they should be given more, powers to deal with this. Sometimes the decisions that the ministers take is not in the national security or interest for the country or the people, and I think that a lot of these areas, and the whole thing is, there's three main areas around Sydney that is actually dominated by Muslims and the Muslim vote. We've got about 1 million Muslims in the country.
Yep.
So these seats, like Jason Clare's and Tony Burke's and I forget who the other one is, that's dominated by Muslims, so they require the Muslim vote. Politicians now are looking at what policies, how they're going to react to something purely for the vote, so they get their job back. They've lost it.
Aren't you, in a way, doing the exact same thing, though? Like, when you think about it, you're trying to, like, maybe it's, well, yeah, you are trying to appeal to white people, to a particular group of white people, granted, but still, like, on the basis of them being white people. I mean, I'm simplifying, but,
Interest in what's best for the country. And this is a real shame that's happening. The same thing is that, I'd be strict on, I'd increase the citizenship to about 10 years before you can get your citizenship, apply for it in Australia. Some countries, I would say, no, we don't want people from those countries because of their cultural background and they won't assimilate. I think we've got to be tough on that. People must learn English, must have a proficiency in English before they come here, and I'd get rid of all the government literature in foreign languages, because people then are voting and they don't know what they're voting for. We're not.
What? What do you mean?
Pushing for people to become Australians and learn our culture and our way of life and to assimilate.
Text in from a listener out there, will you be supporting the fishers and hunters?
Well, what do you mean, am I supporting the fishers and hunters?
Can you ask Pauline, who will she preference, Liberal, Labor or Greens? Also ask her, please, will you support fishers and hunters? Are you after tighter gun laws in Australia, as was flagged first?
No. The government, we've got one of the tightest gun laws in Australia, and the whole fact is the government is using this as a deterrent to put the spotlight on the real problem that we have, and that's what makes me mad about this. We're persecuting law-abiding Australians over the gun issue when they had nothing to do with it. You will always have the illegal guns getting into Australia, so don't go after them and put the spotlight on the real problem that we have here. Is the people and their cultural and their beliefs and their ideology that we've brought into the nation. No, I'm backing those legal gun owners, whether they want to train for the Olympics or they like their sport or target shooting, or whether they like, the farmers that need their gun. Don't go after them, and that's why I want to speak out about this. And it's not about me, where my preferences are going. You, the voter, own your preferences. You decide where you want to put your preferences. I can only, or a political party can recommend, but I'm putting out a program, not a program. It's an information based, which I've tried to do for years now, to inform people how the voting system works, because I want to empower the people to make the vote work. So it comes back to the people out there. Wake up, understand the voting system, how the preferences work. You control it. You mark the ballot paper. You put your preferences where you want them.
My text line is going overwhelming. I've got to say, you got a lot of support on the text line this morning, Pauline.
Oh, boy, there's so much.
Barnaby Joyce at the moment. We had a Mark from Hallett Cove.
Yes.
You feel confident that Barnaby Joyce has made the right stuff?
Absolutely fantastic. I've just been talking to Barnaby now, and we've been going through
He's
some
here
policies,
right
what we
now.
want to do for Australia, call for more accountability, more for Australian investment, jobs, housing, to address that, the cost of housing in Australia. So we've just been going through some policies. Look, it's great working with him, and he's just so thrilled to be on board with One Nation. I don't suppress people. People who want to be in politics are there for the right reasons, that they want to do what's best for the country. You don't suppress them. And that's what the coalition have done, is they haven't gone after because they're big donors and all the rest of it. My view is, let's find the answers. Let's have vision for the future. Let's get the country moving again. Let's call for accountability. My party, myself, is very open and honest with the people. The people have a right to know. If you can't tell the people, then you're lying to the people. You've got something to hide.
On that recent poll has you on 24% tied with the coalition at the moment. Do you think the coalition's gone off the rails?
My God, I didn't realise that. I'm on 24%. I'm thrilled with that. So I nearly fell off my
Bright
chair.
news for you. There you go.
I did. You told me something. I heard it was 20% in New South Wales. My God, Richard, I've just, it makes me so proud in such a way that I've stuck with this for 30 years to try and do something. I felt I had something to offer the country, but I also knew that I couldn't do it alone. I needed the right people with me. If I don't know anything, then get the people beside me that we can do it as a team. And that's what I have done. And I got found.
And she's picked over the years some top-notch, high-quality people who know what they're doing.
Fantastic people, whether it's my staff, whether it's other members of parliament. We're growing the party, and people are slowly waking up now. They want change. They're fed up with the two major political parties, and the state of this country is one hell of a mess. I believe that we can turn it around. I think we can give back prosperity and a future for the generations coming along after us.
My guest this morning, Senator Pauline Hanson. Pauline, thank you very much for coming on the show this morning. We reached...
Yeah, that's great. Interesting. Fastest growing. So true. So true. So real. Can I get like a properly refreshed one? Yeah. Wait, what? Allah is Satan, Islam is hate, and murder and tyranny. Any who say different are lying to your face and are traitors, sycophants and cowards, and enablers of the elimination of Aussies, freedom and Australia without the consent of Aussies. The source of genocidal anti-West hatred is the Vatican. Wait, what? The source of genocidal anti-West hatred is the Vatican. That is interesting. That went out of nowhere. A war of independence is needed against the Vatican and its allies, henchmen. ALP, media, libs, Islam, law, unions, greens, big business, and sport. Wait, what's this? We can't like hashtag stand up to hashtag stand up so mate oppose to oppose Islam and fuck me. Queensland, of course. Interesting. Do you? All of this flag blending shit is putrid no matter what flags they are, but especially the ones blended with the Australian flag. This thing. Stress is worse. What the fuck? What the fuck? Wait, what?
Hi.
My 13-year-old saved this sound and used it as a voicemail after seeing it on TikTok. Then had this strange message left for her by what I'm assuming is a weird Indian scammer.
This is Garfield, and no one can come to the phone because of angry gerbils is ransacking. Hi, this is Garfield, and no one can come to the phone because a gang of angry gerbils is ransacking the house. Please leave a message and call animal control.
I don't want to call animal control. And who the hell is ransacking your house? Oh my god, Habibti cannot handle this. Too much going on. Too much going on. I think I'm going to have mental breakdown. I just wanted to call about your Tesla, but now there's 3 piglets ransacking your house. Too bad. Omp omp. I don't know. 3 piglets, yes. It's a 3 piglets. Make the bacon. I thought you halal. Oh yes, we worship the pig.
What the fuck? Then got some weird Indian scammer screaming into a phone. Why are these people so strange? Was it funny? Yeah, kinda, but having some foreign scream into the phone on your voicemail is kind of creepy. I mean, not really. Have you ever had that? Is that not weird? I mean, it doesn't have to be a foreigner for it to be creepy. Okay. No. Give me the letters. Places. Israeli lobby. Oof. Oof. That is a drastically large difference there. What is that? 13 points? 13 points. Yeah, Jesus. DOJ official criticizes PM over Bondi. Wait, what? The DOJ's anti-Semitism task force, Leo Terrell, has blamed the Australian government for allowing Jewish hatred to fester in the lead up to the Bondi attack. What the fuck?
There was an attack on the Jewish community worldwide. And I blame, in part, the Australian government in allowing this Jew hatred to fester. They had warning signs of hate and terrorism towards the Jewish community. And what played out there was unfortunate, and I think the response by the Australian Prime Minister is weak, because basically they have allowed the Palestinian, or the concept of a Palestinian state, to exist. This is really something that is tragic, because it gives a message that Jew hatred is okay in Australia. And I find that an attack on the Jewish community.
Yeah, because saying Palestinians should be allowed to have their own state equals you hate Jews. Yep, that makes total fucking sense. Denmark has been set by US ally that this appears to account for so little, and Washington should give Australia a pause. No respect for collaborators. Both Denmark and Australia helped the US back ISIS terrorists in Syria to topple Assad, but their rights will be dumped if and when the US emperor sees fit. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Oh, yeah. This is funny.
I got to look at this myself. Wow. What a view. This is the door to the bar. Wow.
Okay, Grandpa. Back to bed now. Back to bed you go. Whoa! Epic police chase corner casually throwing punches at the bloke after he's been tackled to the ground.
Oh shit, shit, shit.
Oh, baby! Yo, baby, move! Move!
Oh, is this in fucking Queensland?
Oh my god! What the
That's crazy. Look, 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 look. With him.
Look our door,
Look,
look
look,
it.
look, look.
Look it,
Oh.
look it, babe.
It's okay.
Look it.
Oh shit, shit, shit.
No, don't.
Holy shit.
I'm so scared. That literally beat my... Oh god, my heart is beating. Oh my god, there's so many cops, guys. There's literally so many cops. Oh my god, this Toyota coming. Oh my god, I'm so scared. No, no.
Hmm. Wait, what are they voting for? Which one's worse? Eh. ICE agents wear masks for the same reason the KKK wears hoods. Yeah. Oh yeah, my boy, Tom Morello. The GOAT. My GOAT. Ryan wants to kill peaceful protesters. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shows how many people came out MFA claiming that Queensland is different. It's not so bad. The MFA has to be more mild there. What? This looks pretty bad to me. Clearly nowhere is safe from modern Australia. It's like what, one thing happened and they're already they already are dealing with it, and you're like, oh well, let's just gin up more more hyperfixated fury and rage and outrage over it when they've already dealt with it. They've already actually fixed the problem. On genocide, all say it's Israel. Yeah, it's genocide. Thoughts for thousands. Imagine the smell. Does he like try and give them shit or something? Sunflower beautiful. Unlike the stench of death by IDF murderers led by a war criminal, they both stink no place in Australia. Yeah, okay, because does not at all sound like a screaming toddler. Albanese is a Zionist bootlicker. What's your badge number? Are you trying to dox me? Oh, yeah. Don't you see that again? Wait, what? No, I don't wanna, in case. Trump watching PM amid concerns over his pro-Palestine history. Is this like actually like legit? Like I know that there is the footage and whatnot of him from when he was like shortly like when he was in uni and whatnot and doing activist shit, but like it's so obvious he's sort of shifted. Kind of shifted over loud. I need to save this. Just fucking quickly capture it. The waltzing movement is the last movement that I'll be a part of. As I said at the start of the movement, okay, I'll join, but it will be the last time a man died believing in this movement. Fuck what anyone else thinks. I'm not helping you guys out anymore. When is the last time you guys shared my channel? I've been waking up these for 3 bloody years. I had to teach myself how to film, produce on programs that were unfamiliar to me. I'm not a people person. You guys would know that on X basis, but yeah, I keep pushing myself. That's how dedicated I am to saving this country. I will not be wasting my time any longer on bullshit. Too much time has passed. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, the bushfires aren't going great, as always around this time for Victoria, unfortunately. Beautiful singing. Yeah, that's old news. What's he saying now about Iran?
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me
Fucking
that the
echoes
people
weird.
are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts. So we don't want that to happen. There have been cases like this where President Obama totally backed down. But this is something pretty incredible that's happening in Iran. It's an amazing thing to watch. They've done a bad job. They've treated their people very badly, and now they're being paid back. So let's see what happens. We're watching it. We're watching it very closely.
Watching it very closely. No, can't be looking at American politics. We're checking in on Australia. That's 12 days ago. Give me like not the backflip. I want to know why Josh Frydenberg against Virginia Bell for announces. Okay. Fucking why?
The announcement of a... Let's get more on our top story today, the announcement of a federal royal commission into the Bondi Beach tragedy. We can speak live now to former Treasurer and Deputy Leader of the Liberal Party, Josh Frydenberg. Mr Frydenberg, thanks for your time on Sky News today. The Prime Minister says he has listened and a royal commission will go ahead. Presumably, you feel that's the right call?
I do, and 25 days after the Bondi massacre, I welcome the Prime Minister's announcement of a Royal Commission. I think it's a big opportunity for our country to rebuild, to reset and to repair our nation after what has been a terrible 2.5 years of harassment, hate and violence directed towards the Jewish community, which culminated in Australia's deadliest terrorist attack. This announcement of a Royal Commission could have happened earlier. It should have happened earlier, but only because of the overwhelming weight of public opinion. Tens of thousands of Australians from every walk of life, from every corner of the nation, started to call on the Prime Minister to announce a Royal Commission, recognising that while the Bondi attack was one that targeted the Jewish community, it was actually a threat to every Australian, and I'm very pleased that the Prime Minister and his government have now relented and made this announcement.
Virginia Bell is going to lead the commission. What do you feel about her appointment?
Here we go.
Well, she's obviously a very distinguished lawyer, having been on the High Court, and I will support her work and that of the Commission. The subject matter is too important to fail. A lot of a lot is riding on the success of this Royal Commission, because it's unforgivable and unforgettable what has happened in Australia over the last 2.5 years, with the riots, with the boycotts, with the divestment, and the targeting and firebombing of Jewish places of worship. My point about Virginia Bell's appointment that I made public was that you would have thought, after 2.5 years of this unbelievably bad behaviour we've seen in our country towards the Jewish community, that the Prime Minister would have got the support of the Jewish leadership for his choice before putting that name out into the public realm. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but now that the decision's been made, the appointment's been made, the Jewish community, as well as the broader Australian community, will obviously get behind this Royal Commission and try to make it the success it must be.
Yeah, how confident are you the Jewish community will be listened to throughout this process?
I'm confident because ultimately it's in Australia's national interest to get to the bottom of the motivations, the ideology, the individuals, the organisations that is fanning these flames of hate that have been so prominent and pervasive across the country over the last 2.5 years. It's such a tragedy that it culminated in the attack at Bondi Beach. 15 people lost their lives, including the beautiful 10-year-old Matilda. And it's in their name that we must all strive to do better. It's in their name that we must secure the safety of all Australians. We need to promote democracy, but we most importantly need to promote the values that underpin our democracy: tolerance, understanding and a fair go. And I think there's a lot of work to be done by this Royal Commission, by the government, by every Australian, to promote education, to promote more de-radicalisation, to have greater law enforcement, and of course we need as a country better leadership.
Just anecdotally, how are you feeling just 5 days out from the 1-month anniversary? Do you feel like the mood of the nation has changed at all? Is it for the better? Do Jewish people feel safer?
Well, obviously I'm deeply saddened, like every Australian is, about what happened at Bondi Beach, and we should never forget not just the fact that 15 people lost their lives, but some 40 people were badly injured, and there are still people in hospital as we speak who are fighting for their lives. And so this was a very traumatic event, and it was an unfortunate wake-up call for the country, because what we needed to do is reset. We needed to rebuild the relationships, and we needed to repair our social cohesion. And the Royal Commission is the opportunity to do that, but there are going to be many uncomfortable truths that we're going to have to confront here about how anti-Semitism has become normalised in our country, how it's become a cancer on society, and we need to root it out. And that's going to require some hard and courageous decisions from the leadership, not just political, but from the civic leadership across our nation, federal and state.
Okay, Josh Frydenberg, we really appreciate your time on.
Interesting. I hate him. Not because he's Jewish. He's just a scumbag. He's just your typical LNP scumbag. I'll be back. I'm just gonna go to the toilet. I'll just go do this. Am I back? Ah, yeah. Yep, so much for that being legit. Canada, UK, Canada, and Australia consider coordinated plan to ban Elon Musk's X. Is this got an article? Oh wow, the commie countries are considered the commie countries. What? Wait, so like there's not actually a link with this? I thought that would have been for a link. Nope. There. Yeah. Okay. The United Kingdom reportedly considering a coordinated effort to ban, and of course it's got all the fucking um, cryptocurrency bullshit. Effort to ban this potential move comes amid growing concerns over the platform's influence and regulatory compliance in these countries. The discussions are in the preliminary stages and no official decision has been made yet. The governments are evaluating the implications of such a ban and its impacts on users and the broader digital landscape. Oh, and that's it. This is today. Okay. Who is this? Who's Femex? A user created crypto exchange. I have a feeling I know what this shit is. What this is all about. Services. Products. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything else? Joint ban. No. Okay. This feels a bit more reputable. No, the government is working with Canada and Australia to launch a coordinated ban on X over Grok. Over Grok, that's right. Yep, ministers believe it will send a powerful message to Elon Musk if countries do it together. I'm happy we're talking about taking coordinated action against X. Let's put it into action. Oh, man, it's like, I don't know why, but I'm very humid here. I don't know if it's like the location of my desk. But anyway, threatened with UK ban over wave of indecent AI images. That's because you've literally been able to just create faux kid porn with Grok. I'm not even going to go into like the details about it. It's just really fucking gross. I'm just seeing a lot of fucking different, what looks like, yeah, AI and crypto investment shit around this because it's just I'm reading this as this is going to lead into crypto betting and the prediction market bullshit at some point, right? Like people are going to be betting on when it happens, how they do it, etc., etc. UK says ban on Elon Musk on the table. Yeah, I mean that's CBS, so that's relatively that's reputable. So yep, okay, fair enough. A little bit more willing to believe that now. Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Is that what they said? Oh my God. No. Premier denies pressuring Adelaide Festival to drop. Believe nothing until it is officially denied. Legalistic denials make him look like more of a patsy. That'll be interesting. Wait, who is it? Okay. Yeah. We saw that. Haven't heard this one. Apparently the wokes are getting slack about informing us lefties of their agenda. Huh? Maybe I need to read this. The woke agenda says Australia Day is offensive and should be banned. Australia Month is our response. God bless Australia, it is our homeland. If you love Australia as much as I do, the agenda isn't about. Hang on. Where fake patriots vote to dump hundreds of thousands of Australian citizens into unemployment and onto welfare for the benefit of foreign corporations and then marched by the place yelling Aussie, 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 oi, 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 hilarious. Happy Preston month, where fake patriots vote to dump hundreds of thousands of Australian citizens for the benefit. Yeah. The Ombudsman also reaffirmed the pointlessness of this punishing and costly system, citing evidence that there are not enough jobs for majority of job seekers. Stigmatization and unsuccessful job seeker of unsuccessful job seekers as people who are reluctant to accept employment may contribute to the limited oversight of providers and possible narrow administration of the program, despite the evidence telling us that the majority of the 652,000 are in fact unlikely to find ongoing employment no matter how hard they try, given that current unemployment in Australia is close to the natural level of unemployment with respect to the inflation rate. I'm actually kind of curious. I don't mind the political context machine. They've done some pretty cool things. I actually just want to ask it. Can I just get rid of him? Because I don't even really care about him like responding. Hey, where is that? Is that screenshot taken from? I'd be interested in reading the full piece. Cheers. I'm just curious. And so then, this one apparently the works are getting slack about informing us lefties of their agenda. Yeah, that's funny. I'm going to comment on here as well. Wait, what is it? Was that the lefties were demanding expanding the date of Australia Day. Invasion Day is truly worth protecting. That's funny. will shrug in 2026, pulling billions and billions of dollars out of the economy. They'll be winding up their business investments, then relocating to tax-friendly countries that actually like them. Zero tax and no department of blue hairs micromanaging your existence. I really struggled to understand, like, are these guys doing okay? Like, do they really legitimately for one think that companies in Australia, like all these millionaires, Aussie millionaires apparently, are just gonna go, all right, fuck it, time to go to the UAE? I wouldn't if I was a millionaire. You fucking kidding me? Being in the Middle East with like the bullshit that's going on there? Fuck no. Also, like, apparently Aussie millionaires, um, uh, 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 free of any expectation to also be patriotic, apparently. You know, why shouldn't they have to, if they're such patriotic Australians, why shouldn't they be expected to pay tax, given that they can afford it? Um, it's just fucking stupid. Wait, what? Even the Nazi called themselves social. Oh God, they were totalitarians that believed in big government and state control. They were left. Ah, fucking idiot. My thoughts are with the Victorians facing yet another year of deadly bushfire. Global warming seems to be the cover-up of state government mismanagement. What? What? What does that even mean? C CFA funding. Victorian government strips fire authority of 70 million. Has secretly stripped, while pumping into union-dominated FRV. What? Okay. Victoria CFA. Country Fire Authority, and then what was the other one? FRV. Fire Rescue Victoria. While pumping 1 billion into. Oh, is the issue like it doesn't? Yeah, as in like, oh, you defunded the fucking the country, like the rural area fire brigade, and what gave it more to the city one? Is that what it's? That provides firefighting rescue service in areas and major regional centers. Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's more about the metropolitan thing and the remainder of regional throughout the state. 35 of these stations, which are classified as peri-urban and regional, are co-located with volunteer brigades of. Wait. Was formed by a fully career serviceable and stuff that under the CFA merge is now made up of more than operational firefighters. But then, so then, and then when was this? Victoria stripping CRF. Wait, what was it again? CFA FA funding. Yes, recent Victorian budget changes, particularly related to the new emergency service levy, have led to the significant concerns and accusations of stripping funding from the, with claims of budget cuts impacting volunteers, equipment and resources, despite increased levies on property owners, while FRV's budget appears less effective or even increased, sparking debate over fairness and impact. Okay. Okay. I like that one. Versus funding shortfalls for essentially I've seen budget increases. Has defended the funding model, though Premier Allen reportedly refused to concede that CFA suffered cuts, emphasizing the need to fund broader emergency services. In essence, while the government points to feel they are bearing the brunt of funding shifts. Okay, I can sort of understand this, but you know, what have I been? Ah. What? That's not what he said, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure he was talking about the pedophilic shit. Okay. It's up against tyrannical government. That's gold. Why does he have nips? Never mind. Australian government, you do not have our permission to sell any Australian land to any overseas interests. The message is quite simple. Be part of the problem. Don't be part of the problem. Be the whole problem. I'm just gonna hold it on there for a sec. While I try and just put it on. Fucking hell, it's hot. I think we might end it here, just because I'm unfortunately going to have to do a few other things today, as per the usual of life, you know. Alrighty, cool. Signing off now.